Doodly doo 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 doo. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm just gonna scat for this whole show. Ba-da-dee-dee-dee-dee. Tweedly-dee-dee-dee-dee. Skeebity-bop. Shoobity-bop. Shoobity-bop. Shibbity-dee, shibbity-doo. Squibbly-dee, squibbly-doo. Hip-hop, flip-flop. Doodly-doodly-doo. I did get some game time in. I did. Yeah, last night was not gonna happen. I don't know if today is gonna happen. We'll see. It might be time for a little Highdeology break for me. Just fucking chill the fuck out on these for a minute. Ugh. I had a stare too long into the void, and the void stares back into you also moment last night on the stream where it was just horse shit, horse shit, horse shit. And I was just like, is this my life? Is this my life? How did I get here? Cancer chat. That's the usual, but dealing with it day in, day out is not the usual for me. Oh well. Who cares? How are you staring into the void? I wasn't even commenting. I was playing Civ 5. Yeah, maybe the chat racks a discipline. Thanks, Cloud Massacre, for my lovely salt shaker. I wish they were animated. I wish they would, like, you know, like the salt shaker would, like, twist and go and little salts would come out. That would be cool. Yeah, that's what I was going for. I know when I get, like, notifications for other people to go live, it says watch live now, and I thought if I name it rather than later, it would look like it's all one part of the title. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? No, notifications are okay today. The other day, I mean, we're only 3 minutes in, and there's already 50 people here, so, you know. This actually isn't my beanie. I thought I was going to consider it my beanie because I thought I'd stolen it from TJ. And TJ is notorious for stealing beanies. And I know that he has at least one of my beanies. At least one. And so I was like, fuck it, I claim this as mine. And then the other day, it was like a couple of weeks ago, I was doing one of these, and fucking Chelsea goes, oh, there's my beanie. You have my beanie. I was like, fuck, I stole Chelsea's beanie? So I think, like, what I need to do is just mail this back to Chelsea. Because I feel bad. No, he doesn't have my Pig Wheels beanie. I've got that. He's got another, I think he's got one of my, he's got, like, either one of my normal, like, hats or one of my beanies. I don't know which one. But I gave away one of my Pig Wheels beanies at a meetup. And then the other one I still have. Where do you get your beanies? Wherever I find them. No, see, because this is Chelsea's, though. She's never stolen a beanie. So I can't hold her beanie hostage for one of mine. That's not fair. I've got one of TJ's beanies, too. Trust me. Trust me. Sorry, I had to tinkle. Had to use the little boy's room. Had to use the little boy's room, I did. Had to relieve myself, because nature cold. The massive civil war the left is having over them realizing... see, I don't know why the left has to realize this every time we elect a leftist. Or elect somebody... Well, he's not a leftist. Elect a Democrat. Every time we elect a Democrat to high office, the left seems to go through this conniption fit of figuring out that they never had any fucking intention of helping you. But whatever. The left needs a civil war. The left needs to tear itself apart, eject the people out of it that don't belong into it, and rebuild itself from the fucking ground up. Hats are collective property. The idea that you can own a hat is based on the capitalistic ideas of property rights and fair exchange, which living people are under no obligation to act in accordance with. Yes. Yes. But I didn't want to. I didn't want to steal Chelsea's. I feel bad. It's a very comfy beanie though, so I almost don't want to give it back because it's comfortable. It's like the softest beanie, you know? Like it's very soft. It's the softest. I missed a shot. Oh, there it is. Saying ain't so. YouTube is really butting in this chat to try and nanny us. Can we boot them? We see the YouTube mod, lol. If we could protest, ban them. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about that, Blue Noble. Sorry I missed a shot. When I'm done with a hat, it's ruined to the public. Gross. What are you doing with your hat to ruin it? They don't reveal themselves. If there indeed is a person out there, they don't reveal themselves. And if it's an AI, it can't hear what we're saying. Trust me, I yelled at a fucking AI for 30 minutes the other day trying to communicate with it. Wait, YouTube has general mods the channel owner didn't mod? Yes. This is a new thing that has just started. I don't know that it's a person, but if it is a person, they really suck at their job. I don't know if it's a person or a... Yeah. They even censor the people that I have modded. It's not long before they start boop when I'm talking. Wait for it. You guys think that's not next? It's an algorithm. Oh my God. Stavros, it's you? Stop it, Stavros. Yeah, motherfucker, that. You can't say motherfucker, dude. Not in chat. Maybe I can't say it now. Beep. I wish there was another platform we could use. Yeah, there's not. Not really. Definitely not one that, like, you know. Last night was my first time visiting Sniffer's Row. Masked up, of course. Wasn't as awkward as I thought it would be, given my anxiety. Liquor is weird. Sniffer's Row? The fuck is Sniffer's Row? Oh, it's a strip club. Okay, all right, fair enough. Sniffers Row. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, did you snort a bunch of coke last night or what? What the fuck is that? And why are they acting like you should know? I don't know, man. I've never been to Sniffers Row. Yeah, it does sound like a place to score drugs. Did you see the report by climate scientists saying the sea level is rising faster than previously thought? Yes. The ocean is also acidifying faster than they previously thought it was too. That's not new news. That was like a year ago that scientists started saying that. Like the rate that the ocean is acidifying is like 3 or 4 times faster than they had projected in their climate models 10 years ago. The ocean is warming faster than they'd accounted for. Sea levels are rising faster than they had accounted for. Ice caps are melting faster than they had accounted for. Species are disappearing faster than they'd accounted for. The Great Barrier Reef is dying faster than they'd accounted for, etc. There's no good climate news. It's all bad, and it's all worse than they told us it was. It's worse than we thought, not better. And it's getting worse faster than we thought. Yeah. Yeah. Soon, once the ocean dies, we won't have air to breathe. Yeah. All the phytoplankton will die because it's too acidic for them to be in the ocean. And then all the big whales will die. And then all the oxygen that the phytoplankton created will stop being created. And, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's the first time you've read my comments. My life is complete. No, it isn't, dude. That's just the beginning. Have you heard any Bill Hicks music? His songs shows he was a far nicer man than he was a stand-up would lead you to. Right. Well, see, this is the funny thing about like stand-up comics and people that do like the job I do, podcasters and people that are on shows and whatever, is like people look at the performance persona that person throws out there and they think like, I got that person pegged. He's an asshole. Bill Hicks is just a real asshole. It's just like, no, Bill Hicks was one of the fucking, like, to hear his friends talk about him. There's a documentary called American, which is about Bill Hicks, his life and his rise to prominence and his death. And they talked to a lot of people, and every last person that they talked to that knew Bill said he was the kindest, sweetest dude ever. Just a real, genuinely nice, smiley, funny guy. From my understanding, the decline of our environment is exponential. The worse it gets, the worse it becomes in the future because the parts that are breaking down make it easier for other parts to break down. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the way it works. It's like the more ecology that collapses. See, like, there's this great example of how different environments on the planet are completely and utterly dependent upon one another, no matter how far away they are on the globe. I can't remember what it was. It was one of these David Attenborough type documentaries. No, it wasn't. It was some other show. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was talking about how sand and mineral deposits from the Sahara Desert in Africa are carried by the wind and deposited in the jungles of South America and are an integral part of why those jungles grew. They provide nutrients and minerals that the soil needs to support the jungle. And so you see the interdependence of these two completely separate biomes. So when one dies, the other dies. The only function that grows faster than exponential is factorial. We would need to fix the environment factorially to save the planet before the next extinction event. Yeah. Right. Another good example is how salmon spawns bring adult fish full of stored nutrients all the way upstream to provide the redwood trees with nutrients from the sea. Exactly. So salmon come back from the sea, they go upriver to spawn and die. Their nutrients are consumed by animals, consumed by the local ecology, consumed by plants, broken down. All those nutrients that they got feeding in the sea are brought upstream to the forest and distributed there. Yeah, Democrats were never going to act fast, Dagsby. And we always knew. I don't know why you retracted your message. You were right. I don't know why you retracted your message too. Hella people retracting their messages. But yeah, no, we do need Democrats to act fast. But we all know that they're not going to. So why are we continuing to fucking engage in making excuses for them or involving ourselves with them at all? They're not involving themselves with us. So why give them the fucking votes they need to continue to get into power? Why give them the fucking support they need to continue having their cushy government jobs? Fuck them. Let the Republicans win forever. Look, dude, I've lived under Republican administrations and I've lived under Democratic administrations. Lots of them now. I was born under Jimmy Carter's administration. I'm pretty sure, right? 1980. Jimmy Carter was president. Or no, 1980 is the year that fucking Reagan became president, right? So I was born. I can't even remember. I was either born under Jimmy Carter or fucking Ronald Reagan. I saw Ronald Reagan. I saw George H.W. Bush. I saw fucking Bill Clinton. I've seen them all. I've seen them all. I've lived under both of them. Let the fucking Republicans win till the end of time. Quit giving your votes to these fucking people. Let this fucking Democratic National Committee and all of the vampires that occupy it wither on the vine from lack of votes and support, and let's be leftists here. Let's put our fucking political pressure and our political voices to work creating a new way. Yeah. I was born in the year that Reagan was elected, right? I don't see how Paul's ideas are any less practical than trying to work within the electoral system as it is. The electoral system as it is an opiate for politically minded people so that they can engage in something and pretend that they're doing something. The truth of the matter is that the DNC is meant to funnel leftist fucking votes into center-right policy. It's not something that can be saved. It's not something that can be pushed left. Its entire function, as it exists now and has existed for at least 20 fucking years, is to funnel leftist energy and leftist fucking ideals into a center-right pipeline. They're not your friends. The squad aren't your friends. Like you need to understand that leftists, like the open advocacy type leftists like AOC and Ilhan Omar, they're part of the democratic machinery. They provide the front face that gets leftists to continue to vote blue no matter who, so that they can continue to funnel power towards center right policy. You have no friends in the Democratic Party. Cut it off, then kill it. They provide the leftist face. AOC is the leftist face. There's no way you're going to fucking elect enough AOCs to overtake that. It's by design ridiculous. They are not your friends. The AOCs, the Ilhan Omars, the fucking squad, they're there to get leftists to continue to vote blue no matter who. They're there to provide a leftist face and leftist talking points to center-right policy and act like there's some kind of a movement in the fucking Democratic Party that doesn't exist. The token progressive, yeah. Whoops. So stop. That's why these people like on Twitter, people are like, "What? My problem with Paul isn't that he's attacking Biden, is that he's also attacking people that voted for Biden." It's like, who should I attack? Who put him there, dipshit? Wasn't me. Controlled opposition, controlled resistance. Yep. To play devil's advocate, the party right now utterly sucks, but how does the Republican Party winning over and over increase our chances of reforming the left? I want to hear this part of the strategy. Okay. Well, I want you to imagine all genuine leftists in this country and all of the time and advocacy that they poured into canvassing for Democratic National Committee candidates, arguing for the election of Democratic National Committee candidates, canvassing, pushing the vote, making donations, all of that money, all of that time, all of that energy, right? I want you to imagine that that is all here in my hands, right? And that I could take it from where it is now, which is locked into a system that has us fucking ourselves with our own votes and trying to work within a system that is utterly built against us. And now it's focused on a labor movement and a new national labor party. And the DNC loses all of the actual leftists to that. They migrate, you see. We take the ball that is actual leftist thought and power and political ideal, and we move it from electoralism, where it is now and where it resides now, to labor. Imagine the power that that could have. Imagine the money that would be freed up. So to answer the, well, why can't we do both, people? Because one half of that works against the other half. That's like saying, I'm going to lose weight and exercise, but I'm also going to eat nothing but Twinkies and pizza. Until I fucking can't even, I'll stuff myself up to here with Twinkies and pizza, but then I'm going to go on a walk and lose weight. It's like, it doesn't work that way. Why can't we do both? Left advocacy and voting for fucking center-right politicians. It's like, what? Why can't we do both? Besides, Republican policy is very unpopular. If they win over and over, they will create a government we could turn the people against. You're probably right about that. So instead of spending energy electing center-right shitheads that don't advocate for our best interests, we spend that time, money, and energy on advocating for labor and agitating for unionization. Yes, 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 yes. And then eventually, when that movement gets big enough, we establish a new leftist party, a third party with actual fucking momentum behind it, with a labor movement behind it. Did you burn your eyelashes? What? No. Oh, dude, I got to tell you guys an old man story. Remind me to tell you an old man story when we're done talking about this. I don't know if I have anything more to say on the subject, but I've got an old man Paul story that's pretty funny. I like how these debate bros talk about the wrongfulness of logical inconsistency while saying they're leftist advocating for right-wing policies. What a world, yeah. Yup. You have the blondest eyelashes I've ever seen. They looked bleached. Yeah, I know. I have very weird eyelashes and eyebrows. My eyebrows are the same way. They look like they're bleached. This hair is the same color that the hair on my head was when I was born. I was born with this almost platinum blonde hair. And if you look at little Paul pictures, that's the color hair I have. And it's like everything else on my head changed as I got older and turned dirty brown or red, but these all stayed the same. Dude, look at this long ass. See this? Okay, so here it is. I'm going to tell you guys that this is perfect. I just found it. You guys see it there? This is a gangly eyebrow hair. Look at this motherfucker. You see it? This right here. Where's it at? I got to get it. Get it. There it is. I got one of them. Look at this fucker. So this happened to me the other day. There. Oh, come on. I had it. Dude, look at it. Do you see it? Okay, so the other day, I was sitting there at my computer and I had a hair in my face. This happens a lot with me. Like a little piece of hair will get untucked from my hat or something and it'll be like this and I'll be like, ah, fuck. But I kept brushing this hair and I kept like, okay, fuck it. I'll take my hat off. And I push all my hair back, put the hat back on. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, that has to take care of it. Put the hat back on. Boom, there's hair like hanging in my face. So eventually I was like, what is this hair? And I grabbed it and I went like this. I went like, whoop, and it was just literally like a fucking eyebrow hair that was this long. I was like, ah, what the fuck is that? Poop. There's another one over here that's going that direction. Look at it. Look at it. Look at that fucking eyebrow hair. I'm getting you, boy. I'm getting you. You are too big to remain on my eyebrows. I gotta get this. This is gonna drive me nuts. Look at that fucking gangly hair. Damn it, I had it. Did I get it? Nope. Yes. No. I need tweezers. I got it. Boom. Can't even watch. I got it. It's okay. It's over. You heard it pop out? Yeah. It was in there. It was in there deep. You had to hear it, yeah. Boisterous thwack. It was in there. Disgusting. Feel like ever so slightly less of a man now. No, I feel like more of a man because I beat that fucking eyebrow hair. I lost like a microgram or something. That was the old man story. That was it. I was literally like brushing hair out of my face all day that was an eyebrow hair that had grown so fucking long that it was just like dangling in front of my eyes. And I was like, get out of here. Thinking it was my actual head hair. That's the old man story. Ancient old man gangly eyebrows. I've never heard of eyebrows growing like that. Yeah, it happens like to old men. If you look at old men, like sometimes they'll have incredibly long eyebrow hairs, like just like crazy long eyebrow hairs. Like I have like even on this side over here probably. Well, see there you can see my eyebrow piercing if I get in close. See the scar from it. Boop boop. Yeah, dude, old men get some brows. TJ's got pretty long eyebrows. I haven't noticed, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna look like Thufir Hawat. I'm gonna look like a Mintat, yo. Paul the Elder, yeah. Paul, round as a ball. You ever have the dream with your teeth breaking or teeth falling out? Yes, everybody has that dream. Well, not everybody, but a lot. That's a very common human dream. Hey man, I let my rabbit and my cat hang out for the first time ever today. No deaths yet. I'd keep my eye on it, bro. Oh yes, a shat. Surprise, that hair was actually a nerve that was intricately connected to Paul's spinal cord and brain. When he pulled it, he accidentally croaks midstream. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous thing for me to have anxiety about. I'm not gonna. I refuse. So I have Shylock's monologue from Act 1, Scene 3, Merchant of Venice, almost memorized, but to practice it, I wanted some advice. Should I practice it in the original pronunciation or another distinct accent? Worrying about the accents and shit. in Shakespeare, that should be your secondary concern. As you're working a monologue, what little kind of vocal flourishes you may need to put on it will happen naturally. So I would recommend that you not really worry about the pronunciation at all. Working Shakespeare is really interesting because it really is like a fight against, forsooth, do I like speak in a fake English accent to make this sound correct? And it's like, no, you don't have to. Like watch like a good example of this put into practice is Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet. Listen to his Hamlet. He puts there is a little bit of an accent to what he does, but it's not this like, you know, to be or not to be, whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. You know, it's not, you gotta really, I would just work it in your normal speaking cadence. Work it, work it, work it, work it. Let little flourishes come out of the language. Let the language drive your flourish, not the other way around. There's no need to put on a specific type of accent when working a Shakespeare monologue. Have you heard the Cobain song, Do Re Mi? It's one of the last songs he ever recorded by himself. Fascinating how different it was. It just makes me sad. It just makes me sad to think, like, and there's a lot of artists that are like this. Jimmy, what do you think Jimi Hendrix would have done with the next 20 years of his life? How do you think that insane, emotive guitar playing and singing and talent would have changed and expressed itself? John Lennon, Kurt Cobain. It could have been so beautiful. But so often, these young people are taken by drugs way before their time, or by Courtney Love, you know, way before their time. Jimmy was getting into jazz and more experimental stuff when he died. Tons of lost potential. I know. I mean, just think about it. Like, I watched the movie the other day and it kind of reminded me of it. It's like Ray Charles. There's an artist that could have very easily been lost to heroin. And if you look at the length and breadth of his career and the different types of sounds that he played with and how he changed jazz music and popular music, he could have very easily died of a fucking heroin overdose before anybody knew his name. Really. Before he ever had a chance to break, before he ever had a chance to get signed to a record label and be put in an environment where he could create and play around with different sounds and change the way he taught or change the way he sang and presented his music. Like, he would have never had the freedom. He wouldn't have been there to start playing with country music and gospel music and weaving that into his repertoire and bringing in orchestras to write beautiful refrains about the state that he was from. He would have died. Jim Morrison is another example. It's like, if you listen to the later Doors stuff, who knows where their sound would have gone? You know what I mean? Who knows if Jim Morrison even would have remained with the Doors and not just gone out and started creating on his own, you know? What could he have done? What would he have done? It's just kind of a shame that we don't get to know. Jim Morrison was drinking himself to death. Drinking and other things, yes. You only feel like that because they died. If they stayed alive, they would have just faded into obscurity and creative bankruptcy. I mean, maybe. You can't say that for sure, though. Like, Ray Charles is the exception to your proposed rule. We were just talking about Ray Charles. He lived a long fucking life and had an illustrious fucking career where he created and continued performing all the way till the end. He struggled with a lot of the same things that, the other people that we're talking about here struggle with. Drug addiction. David Bowie, another good example of somebody that could have died way fucking earlier than he did and never created any of the amazing things that he created later in his career. Fucking Johnny Cash. Another fucking decades-long music career that remained fruitful and productive right till the end. So, eat shit. Eat shit with this, like, oh, they just would have faded into obscurity nonsense. You don't know that. Yeah, at least we have Puddle of Mud keeping Cobain alive. I need an easy friend. Those people are like rare events, like phantasmal events you would be lucky to see. The best fruit, the tree of musical talent ever produced. Sure. Well, I mean, the tree of musical talent is tall and old. So I don't know that you can say that it's the best fruit. And you can't see into the future. The tree of musical talent continues to grow and branch. But yeah, definitely some of the finest fruit it ever bore, for sure. Amongst its prize fruits. Puddle of Mud, best rock band in history. Oh, yeah. I love the way you look at me. I love the way you smack my ass. Ooh. Even obscure artists end up having decades-long careers sometimes. Neil Halstead's band been making music since '85, and how many people know that name? Exactly. Well, like fucking Daniel Johnston, may he rest in peace. Daniel Johnston created music all the way until he died. Never stopped writing, never stopped performing, never stopped working with different bands, never stopped making music all the way until he died. An outsider musician. James Brown did the same thing for 30 years, refining and changing his show throughout. But crowds still love him. Weird Al, yeah. True dat, true dat. Do 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 do. Zappa is definitely the most versatile of all time. I mean, you got to put him on the list. He plays singing saw for Neutral Milk Hotel. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, they use a lot of singing saw, particularly in the aeroplane over the sea. Ooh. Yeah, dude, really, really cool. Added a very ghostly and ephemeral kind of like sound to that record for sure, and that cut from the record especially. Majority of musicians are session people who you never hear making a decent living day to day like the rest of us. There's a lot of there's more working session musicians by an order of magnitude than there are known musicians. You're absolutely right about that. Dude, fuck allergies and everything about them. Oh. Oh, hello, baby. How are you?
All right. How are you doing?
Oh, just blew my nose. So gross.
Allergies.
Wonderful, wonderful allergies. Only one Beach Boy could swim, and he died from drowning. Curious. Dun 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 dun. Oh, I've fed skunks so long they aren't scared of me anymore. Got to play with their floofy tails to annoy them into spraying. Dude, you're such a sick fuck, Sammy the skunk. Leave those skunks alone. Those skunks are protected wild animals. You stop it. Sammy the fucking skunk, man. She immediately regrets coming out here. Yeah, you're probably right. Amelia's like, I'm going back in. Fucking Sammy the skunk.
I finished my book last night.
Really?
Yep.
Last time I saw you reading it, you had like a chunk that fat to go through. And the book is only that fat.
Yep.
So you just went last night.
I was further along than that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen me in a while.
Well, what'd you think?
Yes. Again, Sniper is probably my favorite character.
Yeah. You gonna keep going with the series?
Yeah, the Orbis.
Yep. She's reading the Spatter J. I don't think it's named the Spatter J Chronicles.
It's the Spatter J, but it's those 3 books. But Neil Asher has like the whole polity encompassed in like several different series.
Yeah. So yeah.
He's weird too. Like I looked up his Twitter. He's on this kick for like 72-hour fasts. Like
That sounds like a long ass fast. Yeah, I don't know. Neil Asher is what we're talking about.
he's a bit weird, but so are his books. So.
I mean, yeah, dude, you should be a bit weird to write sci-fi. Is it a chapter book? Yes. Ever read those skullduggery pleasant books or whatever when you were a kid? What? No. All right, let's not have you read me to death. I'm gonna give that a spasm a chance to fucking pass and go get something to drink. We'll be right back. You want something to drink, babe?
Sure.
Want a water?
Yeah.
All right. You got it.
Yeah, those trees are called widow makers, so they wouldn't be great for Paul to climb.
The washing machine was making a weird fuck. Do you hear that?
Yeah, it does that.
That screech?
Yeah,
The fuck is that?
it's just
Like, I
probably
hit
a zip.
cancel. I'm gonna let it. Like, I thought it was breaking or something.
No, it's probably a.
It
zipper
sounds like
or
a fucking pterodactyl.
It's probably a zipper or something. I can take something out of it if you want. It just has done that for me every time.
It's weird. God damn it. So there's like a story of something that's going on right now. And I haven't told you guys about it yet because I feel guilty about it. I have no reason to really feel guilty about it, but I do. So Dinor, who is routinely one of the healthiest dogs I've ever owned, we took him to get groomed at a place that we've never gone there. We live in a place that we've never lived, so we took him to this place that had good reviews and got him clipped and everything. I can show you guys him here. Here's Dinor. And he's okay. Like, he's fine. You can see he's okay. But you see how he shook his head there? That little... So anyway, the lady brings him out the other day, and she's handing him off to me, and she goes, "Yeah, he had one. His left ear was really crusty." And she's like, "I cleaned it out really good. It didn't smell like an ear infection." But she said, just keep an eye on it. And we were like, okay. So we get him in the car, and as we have him in the car, he's like shaking his head, 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 shaking his head. And there's like fluid coming out. So these people left a bunch of fucking fluid in his ear. And so I just thought, okay, well, whatever, he's shaking his head because he's got like water in it, and that's uncomfortable, and eventually it'll get out. But when we looked in his ear, one of them was just like red and raw inside. And so we took him to the fucking vet yesterday, or Amelia took him to the vet, and he's got an ear infection. So they gave us this bottle of shit that we're supposed to squeeze into his ear for the next 14 fucking days. And he hates it. And I want to fucking I won't even say what I want to do to this place that did this to him. And I feel so guilty for dropping him off with people that fucking scraped around in his ear and gave him an infection. So fuck those people. Sue them. I'm not a litigious I don't think they scraped his ear. I just think he had some like earwax buildup, and they went in there and cleaned it out real good and left a bunch of water in his ear, and he got a fucking ear infection. The thing that you were afraid would happen happened. Unbelievable. Exactly. Like that's how I feel right now. That's how I feel. I feel like I never should have taken him to somebody that I didn't know and handed him off to some fucking person but I don't know I can't clip him. I'll hurt him. And he gets all fucking. We took him to the vet. The vet looked in his ears. One of his ears is fine. The other one had an ear infection. The vet clearly didn't, she thought we could take care of it ourselves. It looks horrible in his fucking ear. But we're putting the thing. I have no fucking clue, dude. I don't know what they did to him. I'm fucking sick with myself for doing it. He's gonna be fine. He's up and down. He's eating. He's pooping. He's peeing. He's drinking. He's doing all the things that, he's just agitated. You can tell it bugs him. He's shaking his head all the goddamn time.
He won't play fetch because every time he takes a step, it's like.
Yeah, he doesn't want to play fetch, which is weird for him. So I don't know. I've just got to be fucking either just come up with a way of never having to take him to that type of shit again, or I don't know. I don't know what. Because I don't know what they fucking did to him, but it drives me insane.
Because Chelsea's cleaned his ears a bunch of times, and he never had this problem with Chelsea.
He's never had any problem with Chelsea. But Chelsea's the only bathe him more. I mean, that's not the issue.
He has fur that doesn't stop growing.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous, dude, that your dog comes out and now is sick. Because you took him to a fucking groomer. Cool. Got some mariachi music, D. What do you think about that?
There's no way he had an ear infection before.
No, he didn't. He was fine.
Maybe they were just covering their asses because they realized they fucked him up and said, "Oh, this one was clogged."
Like, I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know what the fuck to do. I'm not a litigious fucking person, but it makes me want to sue this fucking place. Like, there's a number of things that you can do that don't involve scraping a dog's ear till he gets a fucking ear infection or whatever they did.
Probably have some stupid liability thing in the fucking thing we signed.
I mean, yeah, they sign you over a fucking thing where you got to fill it out before, if you're a first time person, and that's probably fucking covers their ass and be a case of just fuck these places. I'm not gonna take him to another one. That's just it. Oh yeah, dude. Well, I'm just lucky that I can afford to pay his fucking medical bills. That's the thing. If I was a person that didn't have the money to pay for their fucking groom and his medical bills, I'd be in fucking trouble right now.
It was back to back, like.
I'm sorry, buddy. We got the drops. We'll do them every night. We'll get it cleared up, hopefully. We'll watch it. Keep our eyeballs on it.
It's not nearly as brown as it was, at least.
Have you seen inside it? Look inside it.
Oh yeah, I guess it is a little bit still.
Let me flip it up again. D,
Yeah,
can I look?
I saw it.
Yeah.
It's just red and just,
Irritated and gunky.
but I mean, it wasn't as brown as like when he was at the vet. When he was at the vet, it looked like there was shit. Like someone took a shit in his ear.
Motherfuckers. Okay. Well. Is it even possible an infection would develop so quickly? How long was he there? See, that's the thing. I don't think he came out with the infection. I think that he got an infection because they left his ear literally filled with water.
With a scrape in it.
With a scrape in it, right. So they'd gone in there and cleaned out his ear too roughly and probably nicked his ear somewhere off in there. And then they left it full of fucking water. He was shaking his head coming home and water was flying out of his fucking ear. So that's what I think happened. He came home that night, was doing that shit, and I just figured, like, okay, well, we'll check him tomorrow. And the next day he was still doing it. So off to the vet he went, ear infection. And it looks pretty fucking terrible off in his ear.
I mean, the water could have not been clean. It's like there's any number of shit.
Who knows what they fucking did? Who knows what they fucking did? That's the thing, is like I had to hand him over for hours to a group of people that I don't know if they mistreated him. I don't know if they fucking were mean to him. I don't know if they hurt him. Fuck this. I'm going to figure out how to do it myself. Until I can find somebody that I trust that can take care of him from here on out. I'm going to figure out how to keep him trimmed. I'll get some dog clippers and I'll do a fucking shitty job on it, but I'll keep him snipped up so he doesn't get dreadlocks and shit. Because he's got the type of fucking hair that it'll just keep growing forever and dreadlock up and shit, no matter how much you brush it. So you have to fucking... What?
He mad too.
Sorry, your boy is ill, Paul. Would it be all right if the moderators acted on your behalf to drop a ban hammer on what? Oh, fuck.
Oh. On that roughshod groomer.
Oh, yeah. Drop the ban hammer, dude. I am so fucking livid. I've been like consumed with this for like 3 days, and it was part of why I couldn't like do this fucking thing last night, because I was just sitting here worrying about him. And then right now, like, he was just like, I can tell he's feeling okay. Like, he's still sitting here barking and being a little asshole. Some people walked by earlier and he ran over there like he usually does. So I can tell he's feeling okay, but I can tell it's bothering the fuck out of him to have this off in his fucking ear. I'm hoping it's not worse than the vet thought it was, because it just looks gunky and shitty, and we fucking did what we were supposed to last night. We put it's got like these thick, milky looking drops that you put in his ear, and he fucking hates us doing it. But we put it off in there last night, and this morning it looks worse. Maybe that's just like stuff that has to come out. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a fucking doctor. So antibiotic drop, yeah. I mean, I feel like putting it in there again right now, but we're only supposed to do it once a day. So I gotta wait till this evening to do it, because we did it last evening. I don't want to overload him with it or whatever the fuck, but that's what I'm hoping, that it's some kind of fucking antibiotic drop that's cleaning that out in there. But I don't know how to clean it. He won't let me touch it. In order to do this, I literally have to hold Dinor down with his ear flipped back on his fucking right side, so that Amelia can fucking stick the dropper down in there and bloop, 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 bloop. It's fucking ridiculous. Yep. I mean, you're probably right about that. I have to come up with some kind of way to trim him here on his muzzle and up here, because his hair will literally grow not only down from here in front of his eyes, but up from his nose in front of his eyes, to the point where, like, you know he's having trouble seeing shit. I know, like, you guys have to understand, when it comes to Dinor and the people that are close to me, I am such a fucking worrywart with this shit. And this is hot off the heels of Dinor having a bad reaction to that fucking flea medication a couple of weeks ago, where we had to take him in and make sure he was okay. But I'm such a fucking worrywart when it comes to him. Because he's like, I don't know. He's like my best little bud. And it makes me sick that I took him to some fucking place that hurt him. And that I can't explain to him that I'm not hurting him when I hold him down every fucking night and put this crap in his ear. And that I can't explain to him what's going on with his ear. It just fucking drives me nuts. You can roll it back, Zach. Dinor went to the groomer, and now he has an ear infection, and it sucks. That's basically it. I'm sitting here spinning out my endless worry over my best little bud here, because he's not feeling well.
You want me to bring him in so he can rest?
Yeah, he was rest. He seems to not shake as much when he can lay down on the bed and stuff. So just let him fucking rest and stuff. See if he wants a drink or something. I just fucking worry and worry and worry and worry and worry. But that's my nature. Like, part of me wants to just take him back to the fucking vet today. He's gonna be fine, I know, but I don't know. I'm just so worried. Part of that worry comes from the fact that I've seen how fast a dog can go downhill. Like, it's painful for me to talk about even today, but my little dog Boogie, she went through these bouts of sickness that we managed with medication and everything was fine. And then one day she just died. Like one day she literally, her liver failed, her kidneys failed, and I took her into the vet and had to have her put down because there was no saving her. It was just like, she was 5 years old, same age as him. So this all wraps up in it. You know what I mean? I've just had bad experiences with this shit. And Dinor has been such a good dog for me in that way because he's so fucking healthy. The dude has never had a problem, really. This is the first real sickness that Dinor has gone through.
It's day one of a 14-day shit.
Yeah. I just want to keep our eye on it. I want to make sure that he eats. He didn't eat last night. That's not unusual for Dinor. He's a weird eater, but I just want to make sure he's eating shit and drinking water. And so I'm taking a drink this morning. He peed and pooped this morning. He's still barking at things. So I just want to keep an eye on him. And if he starts to look like he's getting sicker, we need to take him back. My mom, excuse me, had this cat, Keef Bowles, Dios mío. My mom had this cat named Tootsie, who we had when I was little. She was a kitten of the cat that we had when I was little. Her name was Gerger. Gerger was an outside, basically a feral that my mom adopted. She was an outside cat that would, come, my mom would feed her. And Gerger would sleep in our garage and stuff. But she was not an inside cat, and definitely not a cat that you want to fuck around with. I don't know if you guys can see it. Probably not. They're on my wrist. It's pretty faint, but Amelia would be able to see it. Yeah, there it is. You see it? There's a scar. That's a Gerger scar. Gerger laid me open when I was little because, kids want to walk up to cats and Gerger was like, motherfucker, wah!
And then didn't she hook your sister's eyelid?
Gerger hooked my sister. Well, no, that was Tootie. Oh. So anyway, Gerger has this litter of kittens. And my mom was able to give away, I think she had 3 kittens. My mom was able to give away 2 of them. And then one of them she kind of fell in love with, and that became Tootie. And Gerger eventually passed away. Gerger was probably pretty old. And we had Tootie, or Tootsie was her real name, but my mom called her Tootie. So that's what we all called her, Tootie or Miss Tootie Doo. Don't ask. So Miss Tootie Doo was a little kitten, and my little sister was playing with the kitten, and it, I guess was playfully pawing at her, and it got one of its little claws hooked under her eyelid. My mom heard my sister screaming and ran out, and she was pulling on the kitten, and the kitten had its claw hooked in her eyelid, and she was like, ah! So anyway, Miss Tootie Doo lived for 22 years. Miss Tootie Doo was perfectly healthy until I was in my teens. And then one day I got this call from my mom saying, oh my God, Miss Tootie Doo is in trouble. And I was like, oh fuck, And they took her to the vet because she was acting weird and not eating and blah, blah, blah. and she had feline AIDS. And the only treatment for feline AIDS is blood transfusion, total blood transfusion, right? Tootie Doo was about 12 at this point. My mom did it. Dipped into her savings account that was supposed to fucking, yes, cats get AIDS. You can look it up. Feline HIV and
Or FIV.
FIV or whatever. Yeah. It's not whatever it is. It's feline AIDS. Yes. It's not transmissible to humans. No.
But you can only. Honey, it's fine.
Okay, it's doing it.
Every
All
time.
right, I'm just making sure it's doing it. Okay. Anyway. So feline AIDS. Mom pays for Tootie Doo to have a blood transfusion. It fixes Tootie Doo for 6 years. 6 years later, they go back. Tootie Doo's got feline AIDS again. Another blood transfusion. Tootie Doo lives, and then finally got cat dementia or something. And that's what she died of. My mom had her put down because she one day went blind and deaf and was just wandering around the house like unaware of anything. And my mom took her and had her put down. She was 22. So that's crazy.
I mean, did she let her keep being an outdoor cat after the first transfusion?
She wasn't an outdoor cat.
Okay.
She inherited it from Gerger.
I see. So Gerger had AIDS.
Gerger probably died of feline AIDS and passed it to all her kittens. If you don't mind, I'm going to pet my dog now. Yeah, go for it, bud. My first girlfriend had a mutt that lived to 23 and just randomly died of old age. Yeah, I mean, it happens, dude. Some animals are, especially with, regular vet care and stuff, they live a long fucking time. Do you need a sweater?
I'm okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
What do you, I don't see none. My hairs aren't standing up.
But I'm starting to notice a little bit of looks a little like a shiver. Looks a little like a, you know what I mean? Makes me want to take off this jacket and give it to you. My grandpa's cat friendly passed away at 21. All right, that was just a story about an old cat that my mom had, okay? Let's not go into like my dog died, my cat died, my grandpa's cat died, all right? This is depressing stuff for most people. Certainly depressing for me, whose dog is sick. Those really big dogs with heart conditions, I mean, they have a 3 or 5 year life expectancy. How do people do that? I don't know. Like, you're talking about like the giant fucking bull mastiffs and shit that they just die at like 5, 6, 7 years old. I have no fucking clue. Does your mom have a new cat now? My mom is basically a cat lady now. She's got 3 cats. She has Ricky and Lucy. They're brother and sister from the same litter of oopsie cats from the neighborhood. Like, some lady from the neighborhood brought a basket of kittens over to my mom's house after Miss Tootie Doo had passed and was like, hey, you want some kittens? And my mom at first was like, no, but then she started playing with them and ended up taking 2 of them. So now she's got Lucy and Ricky. And then she also has an outdoor cat, kind of like Gerger, that she takes care of, named Bootsy. And Bootsy is, dude, I have to show you guys Bootsy. If I ever get to visit my mom's house again, in the future here pretty soon, I'll try and remember to take some pictures of Bootsy. She is the cutest fucking cat. I shit you not. She's fucking the most adorable, lovable cat. She's like as big as a little loaf of bread. She looks like she's like a little teenage, like a adolescent. I just became a cat. I'm not a kitten no more kind of size, but she's like 10 years old, 11 years old. So she's like the runt of the litter, and Bootsy is badass. My mom saved Bootsy, basically. Like, Bootsy showed up pregnant as fuck, and my mom took her into the vet because she looked sick, and the vet was like, she's not big enough to bear the size of the litter that she has. She's going to die from it. So she basically got Bootsy a kitty abortion. And in the process, of course, it got Bootsy fixed, which saved Bootsy's life. Bootsy was going to be just raped to death, basically, by tomcats on the street, and she probably wouldn't have survived the birth of that litter because she's stunted. So now, Bootsy is fixed, will not abide being indoors, but lives basically in my mom's garage. Every evening, Bootsy comes back from wherever Bootsy goes during the day. She roams the neighborhood. She won't have it any other way. She comes back. My mom has a little special thing made for Bootsy, a little warm box. Bootsy climbs up in there. She eats her food. And once my mom checks and makes sure that Bootsy's in the garage, she closes the garage so that Bootsy has a safe, warm place to sleep. And then in the morning, as soon as my mom gets up, she opens the garage so that Bootsy can go about her day. And that's what Bootsy's been doing for 8 years or 9 years since my mom adopted her. Pretty crazy.
She loves people.
Oh my God. That's the crazy thing about Bootsy is that, like, that act of kindness that my mom did for Bootsy, because Bootsy was wild. When my mom got her, you know, she had to put her in a cage and stuff because Bootsy was wild. And after she had that, Bootsy loved my mom. And now Bootsy she likes people more than my mom's indoor cats. My mom's indoor cats, they'll come out, like Lucy is more social than Ricky. Lucy will come out and let you pet her as long as you've introduced yourself to her and stuff, and she'll be okay. Ricky, he's like a ghost, man. You have to go seek him out. But Bootsy, yeah, that's exactly, my mom knows that too. Bootsy probably has like 10 owners that feed and take care of her. She lives the good life. But she sleeps every night at my mom's house. If she doesn't come home, my mom flips the fuck out and leaves the garage cracked so that Bootsy can come in. So, Bootsy sleeps every night at my mom's house. But you're probably right. She probably has like 10 moms in the neighborhood that all put food out for her, and she spends the day traveling to each one, pretending that that's the only meal she gets all day.
She's not fat. She's just like potato shaped. She's like just round shaped.
She's literally the runt.
Yeah.
You can tell that she was like stunted as far as her litter. She didn't get as many nutrients. She didn't occupy as much space, and so she came out little. She's very little. You have to see Bootsy to believe it. She's tiny, but she fucking loves people. Like, if there's like my mom and people sitting out in the backyard and it's nighttime and stuff, Bootsy wants to be out there jumping from lap to lap, getting pets. And dude, she does that fucking very like wild cat thing. Like, you can tell cats that like were bottle fed versus cats that were nipple fed. Like, the cats that were nipple fed do that kneading thing, which is like they do it to their mother to get milk to stimulate the nipple, the milk glands in there. But like, that's how she shows she loves you. You get her up in her lap and she purrs, and like kind of claws you like just over and over. But she loves you. She's just like rubs against your legs, loves being picked up. She's a cute little cat. But Bootsy wouldn't have had a she wouldn't have had a chance without that operation. If she like I said, she wouldn't have survived littering.
That's why you get cats fixed at like 4 months old.
As soon as you can.
Because they'll sometimes have babies at like 7 or 8 months.
Oh yeah. I mean, they can have babies like, I've heard like outlying 6, 7 months. Cats can be fertile. So it's just like, you got to get them fixed.
Don't ever trust yourself for them. Like, oh, they're indoors, so they'll never get out. It's like,
No, they
bullshit.
get out. Like, the call of nature is strong. They'll get the fuck out. Trust me. And then you'll have a pregnant cat on your hand. Or a litter of fucking street cats that end up being born in your yard. That's why they're an invasive species. Who? Well, cats, yeah. In certain environments, they are. Life finds a way. Yeah.
I mean, you can feed stray cats, but you gotta get them fixed if you're gonna feed them.
Oh, absolutely. What my mom did is not advisable. Unless you are going to take that cat in and get it fixed, and you are committed to feeding that cat for the rest of your natural life. Like, that cat will become dependent on you for food and shelter. So my mom fulfills that end of the bargain with Bootsy. But if you're not willing to do that, if you're like, hey, I want to feed this stray, but we might move in a couple years, it's like you're just fucking that stray over. Because the next people that get your house or whatever the fuck are probably going to call the animal control on that stray, and it ends up getting killed. Because it won't leave them alone, because it doesn't know how to go out and hunt anymore. Like, you have to take responsibility if you're going to adopt a cat like that. That's an indoor, outdoor, or just outdoor cat that you feed every day. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, there's feral cats around here, but we can't really do anything because half the people have outdoor, indoor cats, so.
There's cats that are feral around here. There's cats that people have indoor, outdoor. There's certain cats. It's hard to tell the difference sometimes. Like, there's one or two that I've seen that I guarantee are ferals. And there's one or two that might be or might just be people's fucking pet cats that are roaming the fucking neighborhood. It's like, nope. You just can't operate in that fucking environment. Like, you can't pick out a stray and start feeding it. Like, the best thing...
And we can't, like, trap and neuter because, like, we might fuck up someone else's cat.
Right. It's just like, I can't... Like, how do I trap and neuter? Well, that's the thing, is, like, if you trap and take it in, and these people have microchipped their cat, then, you know, it's found. And they go like, oh, we can't do that. This is somebody owns this cat, and they take the fucking cat back to whoever owns it. But
the only way we could do it is literally go into every single house and saying,
is this your cat? 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 And if everybody in our fucking area says no, we take it in, and even then it might be chipped because this area is huge. Cats are all over it. It's fucking ridiculous. It's like it's a real problem in the area that we're at. I'd have more strays around my area if it weren't for the coyotes. Either you find an owner to protect you or you get eaten. I mean, like...
That's the problem, too. Like, yeah, let's put out bait and trap them in a little cage where there's coyotes around.
Right. Well, not only that, but, like, the coyotes... Like, there are coyotes around where I'm at. And they don't handle it. The city could handle this shit. Local municipalities could handle this shit by funding a trap drive where it's like, you know,
providing information to every person, like, if you don't want your cat trapped, put a collar on them.
Microchipping mandates and mandates for fixing cat. Like, I don't think there's any reason why anybody should have an unspayed or unneutered cat. So a mandate for registry like they do with dogs. Dogs have a special registry, so cats should have a registry, and if you have a pet cat, it should have to be spayed or neutered, and you should have to provide evidence of that. If not, you don't get to keep the fucking cat. Like, get it fucking neutered. Then we establish a baseline. We have people, the local community starts helping trap the ferals so that they can be fixed, so that they can be released in a place that's further out in the wilderness away from roads and shit. And when they die of natural causes out there, however it goes down, then there's no more ferals around, you see?
It's not going to lead to the death of all cats because there's no way you can catch every single one of them.
No. I'm just talking about in densely populated, like, municipal areas where there's tons and tons of feral cats that live horrible, scrawny, disease-ridden existences and shit because they're all competing for too much food. You know what I mean? Or too little food. It's horrible. Like cats don't know how to like stop breeding when there's not enough food. It's just a fucking something they do. They just find each other and fuck. And then there's like, you know, possibly 6 more mouths to feed.
But yeah, it would be impossible to like stop cats breeding entirely unless it was like a nationwide fucking mandate or something.
Yeah. I mean, there needs to be. There needs to be a fucking nationwide law that isn't based on states. That's a nationwide mandate on dog breeding, cat breeding, and mandating the fucking spaying and neutering of all pets. Fuck these people walking around with the big fucking pit bulls with the giant balls hanging down because that's what they want. Fuck that. Nope. You can have a pit bull, get it fixed. You can have a fucking bull mastiff. It's fixed. Breeding is regulated to only federally approved facilities.
After all the shelters
All the shelters are empty, we can start doing some mutt breeding programs and stuff for people that want dogs. And then you've got to go through a licensing project to make sure you've got a good place to take. Because like there are people that just get dogs, tie them to a tree, and the dog lives tied to a tree its whole life. They put a bowl out there, they feed it out there, it's got a chain around its neck, it's got about 10 feet of movement, and that's its whole life. That has to stop. I mean, we don't even want to go into breeding among humans being regulated. I do agree to a certain extent that it should be, but
it's just the sticky icky.
it's just a long conversation that I feel like we had recently. Like we were talking recently about how a 2-child policy instituted worldwide would eventually kill the human race. Like if we want it, or allow us to humanely control the population. You know what I mean? So if the 2-child policy was ridden to its fucking logical conclusion, it would destroy the human race. But a 2-child policy globally could contract the human race in numbers in a way that doesn't involve rounding people up and killing them or letting people die to horrible disease or starvation or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like we could effectively control the population of the human race with just an enforced 2-child policy. It would take a very long time to kill the human race, right? But it would also allow us to stop the expansion of the human race at a time where more humans equals the need for more greenhouse gases equals the constant and fucking continuing rape of the environment.
But everyone's gonna fucking call it eugenics no matter how.
It's not eugenics though,
Yeah,
because it doesn't.
Yeah.
I understand you're right. Everybody's going to try and fucking make that argument, but those are people that don't understand what eugenics is. This is not a selective program. I'm talking about every man, woman, and child in this country is under the same fucking law. When they are of breeding age, they can have 2. How is that fucking stepping on anybody's rights if it's applied equally and broadly across the human race? And how is that selective breeding or eugenics? 2. Rich people, well, whatever. We're talking about a fucking hypothetical here. We're not talking about the place that we live now instituting this, because you're right. Rich people would get a waiver and they'd have 28 fucking children, and well, then they would have a problem because the world would be peopled with rich little mouths to feed and nobody to feed them. But whatever, that would happen. No, we're talking about a place where it's like rich people, poor people, everybody, 2 kids and out. I want to be free to have 9 bastards I can't take care of. What about the people that do take care of their children? My sister is an example of that. My sister has, how many kids does she have? She has 6 children. They are fucking complete. They're the politest, most well-behaved, well-taken care of little kids that you'll ever fucking meet. They're all smart. They're all doing really well. She takes care of those children. Her husband makes up enough money to fucking support it. So, what about people like that? You know what I mean? I mean, it's badass in a certain way, and it's bad in a certain way. It's, I don't know, dude. I love all those little kids. You can't not. But by the same token, it's just like fuck. Because I stopped asking after 3. When my sister got to 3 kids, I remember after every kid, I was going like, hey, you guys think you're gonna have more kids? And the answer was always yes. And the answer is still yes. Like, I have a feeling that my sister will probably have at least one more kid. And it's just like,
They're all tongue-tied, though.
well, yeah, everybody in our fucking family is.
A never-ending tongue tie.
We all got to get the tongue snipped, except me. I didn't have to get it snipped, but mine is way like closer to the tip of my tongue than it should be. I could probably get it snipped now, but doctors would tell me that it probably would. That there might be an actual benefit to me with the little stutters and shit that I have with certain words. It might be interesting to talk to a doctor about.
I don't think I mean, you'd probably, like, get someone to agree to it at some point, but it just seems like an unnecessary risk.
I mean,
it'd be like having to take your wisdom teeth out even though they're not bothering you.
Right. That's true. I don't know, though.
Lucky.
It might, like, free up my speech, though. Might make it easier for me to speak.
Then you'd sound different.
Yeah, that's true. And then I'd be accused of having a new personality or something because I sounded different. But it's like having a cleft palate, or like not a cleft palate, but like a deviated septum or some shit. Mm-hmm. Like if you get that fixed, it changes the way you sound.
Isn't that what Scotty's got? Or?
Scotty has a deviated septum, yeah. And if he got it fixed, he would sound very different. He doesn't want to get it fixed. It's an elective surgery at this point. It doesn't cause him, problems that he's not willing to deal with. Although I know that deviated septums cause people to have like sinus issues and shit.
Like my dad has a horribly deviated one and he's never done nothing about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's an elective surgery at that point. But when people do get it corrected, it's a relatively safe, easy procedure. So is snipping that shit. Mm-hmm. Like, they do it, like it's easier to do when you're a little baby because, it's easier when you catch it earlier. But it's something that I could get done that wouldn't be super fucking dangerous to me, that might change the way I speak and make it easier for me and make me stutter less on certain words and certain phrases and certain combinations of words. It might turn me into a rap god. Who knows, dude? Maybe like when I snip that shit underneath my tongue and free up my tongue to be a little longer and like move around my mouth a little bit better, I'll be like, you know what I mean? I'll just be able to just like rub it. I don't stutter much, but I talk a lot to you guys and I have a pronounced stutter and I struggle with certain combinations of sounds and shit. Like sometimes I will have trouble saying, you know what I mean? Marshall liked that. You ever meet those people who just have like 2 20-year-olds and a 6-year-old? Holy crap. Dude, my mom's parents were like that. They had kids. My mom's sister, my Aunt Sue, was old enough easily to be my grandmother. And my mom was like 20 years younger than her. By the time she was born, Sue was in her 20s and was having kids that were the same age as my mom. So my mom's cousins, I grew up thinking those are my aunts and uncles. No, those are my cousins. They're just my mom's age. So people do that, dude. It's weird.
My mom had
Right.
sisters in her 40s.
Right. So Amelia is 23 years old, and in her 40s, her mom had her two sisters. And so she waited. So there's a huge age gap between him. Well, not a huge, but there's a significant age gap between Amelia and her little sisters. It happens, dude. What are they called?
What?
Late life babies.
There's
There's
I don't know if there's like a specific.
There is.
Yeah, there is.
There is. There's some kind of fucking term for a baby that comes later in a woman's life or later in a couple's life. I'm trying to remember the name. I'm trying to remember it. Maybe somebody in chat will remember it. They're called O babies. I don't think that was it. Dude, I still consider my cousins aunts and uncles. Like, my uncle. So from my aunt Sue, I got two female cousins and a male cousin, and all three of those people I still call Uncle X or Aunt Y. I don't call them, yo, what up, cuz? It just doesn't make sense in my family. Like,
And now my sisters have nieces that are older than her.
yeah, that's true. What up, cuz? Yikes, what? What was the yikes? Are they like 60? They're in their late 50s. And one of them is 60 now. So yeah. They're like, when I was coming up, they were in their 20s with my mom. Like, my mom had me when she was 20. Okay, so my parents waited 7 years to have children after they got married. They got married when my dad was 18 and my mom was 16. So you'll have to help me do the
So
math.
23.
So my mom was 23 when she had me. And yeah, so they're all within 2 or 3 years of her. So it just doesn't make sense for me to be like, what's up, cuh? Like, I look up to them. I grew up, they were already adults and working and shit and having kids of their own. Their children are my age. So my second cousins are like my first cousins in my family. Because I grew up around them when they were coming up, but they're actually my second cousins. But because of the way my family was just divided along the what would you call it, generational lines, with my mom's parents having children really early and then having children really late. Yeah, just whoever it is, just nuke them.
I've asked about ferrets like 12 times.
Yeah, get the fuck out. Did they call you nephew? No. See, they think of me the same way. My cousins, when they see me, what's up, cuz? You know what I mean? My second cousins. Like, we grew up together. We came up together.
I think they mean like the people you call uncles. Do they call you their nephew?
Yes. So I call them, Aunt Bill and Uncle Sue, and they call me nephew PJ. I'm wary about giving their first names for some reason, and I don't know why I should be.
It can't hurt.
Can't help either.
I mean, it can't hurt not to saying their names. So.
Yeah, good idea. I have 2 half siblings and 1 full sibling. Still say I have 3 siblings. Well, sure. I mean, half siblings are siblings. Like Amelia doesn't consider her sisters not like some lower form of sister because they're her half sisters. Your sisters are your sisters. So Amelia Bedelia Parkey, dude. Yep.
I haven't actually
Doxed.
I haven't actually changed my last name
No.
yet.
I don't know if I told Amelia when it comes to the last name change, and this has always been my position. Fuck that tradition if you don't want to do it. It is of no consequence to me personally or otherwise whether or not you take on the shameful name of Parky. It is so easily made into Porky. It's not a great last name. And so I've never cared whether or not a spouse takes my last name.
And
There's no
90% of
pressure.
the reason I didn't was like it's a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, dude, it is a total pain up the ass, and it's totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
There are millions of people that are married that have completely separate last names. The only place it gets sticky between couples like us is if we were to have a kid,
Yeah.
which we don't want to have kids. So it's like, no problem. If we did have a kid, we'd have to go like hyphenate the kid's name.
Yeah.
Boom. I guess that wouldn't be that hard. Who gets to come first, though? Parky or Bedelia?
I don't know. I feel like we should go alphabetical.
Oh, okay, I see. So Bedelia gets to go first. I see. No, it doesn't matter. Having more than two names is stupid. Well, that's on your kids to deal with. Her last name is prettier. Her last name is not Bedelia. Amelia Bedelia is a child's book character. I'm not. You dork.
Yeah, who didn't read Amelia Bedelia?
Oh, yeah. Where's my cake, Bedelia? Yeah, that's a good reference to Creep Show 1, the first story, too. I want my Father's Day cake, Bedelia. I want my cake, Bedelia. No, you old bastard, why don't you just die? Where's my birthday cake, Bedelia? Do you celebrate Father's Day? No, I do not. Do you? Where's your last name come from? It's Irish in origin. It is an Irish last name. Irish and Scottish. And British. Polio Park. It probably came from park. The etymology of my name probably came from Park, which is a common British name, and is also common British. I didn't say British, I said British. Palmelia Bedarky. Oh, shit.
Oh no.
Irish and Scottish. So you can basically never get a tan. No, I get tans. I am primarily Irish and British, like 90%. And then the other 10% is sprinkled like amongst French, German, and a little hair of Scandinavian. And then like 1% Spanish. European Spanish. They call it in the genetic test Iberian Spanish, meaning that although my genetics don't show it, there was a chance that I could have some like Muslim, like Arabic kind of blood, but that there's no evidence of that whatsoever. When you look at my 23andMe, it says Paul Parkey, 100% European, and then the breakdown is what I gave you.
Pranav says he got his vaccine appointment.
Cool. I'm a white boy. Very, very white. Some British ancestry, probably because of Vikings. Oh, yeah. The Vikings raided a lot of towns and took a lot of British ladies back with them to become their wives. So there's a lot of mixing in Europe. It's pretty rare to have, like, pure, especially in America, like some kind of pure European bloodline. We're all mutts over here. But I will tell you this, the Scandinavian in my bloodline and the Spanish, so I have a little bit of Scandinavian, a little bit of Spanish. It's also the oldest. So like it like goes back the furthest in my genetic line, which means that my most ancient ancestors at some point came from those two places. Like traceably in my genetics, I guess, as I understand it. Order 66 on ridiculous nonsense. Just do it. It's time. It's time to separate the wheat from the fucking chaff. My mother's genetically 90-something% British Isles. It's weird. Yeah, I mean, I am too. Like I said, 90% of my genome is British, Irish, or Irish, British, Scottish, in that order. What qualifies as ridiculous, that is up to you to determine. If it makes absolutely fucking no sense or is shitty or is racist, you ban it. Any German? A little bit, yeah. It's like a little bit of French and a little bit of German on the paternal side. A little taste of German and a little taste of French. I'm like half German. You sound like half Swedish, half German, with a name like Ingrid Helgerson. Fuck off if you're going to come at people in this chat, or Paul sideways. Yep, you're done. You're done, you're done, you're done, and you're done. It's been really weird for me, dude. I was able to, like, I joined that Ancestry.com shit that lets you look up, it's like it makes the search for evidence of your ancestry easier. And I've seen some fucking like census documents from like the 1800s with some of my relatives signing, and I've got all these, like, my family tree is pretty filled out, especially on one side. It's pretty interesting shit. One of the things I found out through genetic testing and through lineage is that there's this story in my family that my great 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 grandfather married a full-blooded Indian. Now, this is a very common story in America. At some point in America, it became fashionable to have a touch of Native American in your bloodline. Somebody went off, and fell in love with an Indian, but it was always generations back. It's usually not true. And in my family's case, I was able to confirm that it is indeed not true. There is 100% zero evidence. It was before Dances with Wolves. It was in like the fucking like 1800s and shit. Like during Civil War times, it became very, very fashionable for people to claim to have Native American blood in their history.
You want a sandwich?
What kind of sandwich you doing?
I could do turkey, I could do grilled cheese, I could do PB&J.
Ooh, damn. PB&J. Thank you. Sorry it took me so long to decide. You just gave me such great options.
It's okay.
Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. I gotta end this here pretty soon. My phone gave me the 20% warning, which means it's on its way to death. Yep. My mom told me growing up that my, 4X great grandpa married an Indian lady. And if that was true, it would have shown up in my genetic test easily. I'd be like, 1/80th Indian or some shit. Yeah, it was a good long stream, but all good things have to come to an end. I'm going to go ahead and end this. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.